supposed to introduce myself and my beginning? Like introducing myself and the organization. Am I supposed to introduce myself and the organization at the beginning, or like when I introduce my solution?
At the beginning.
At the beginning, yes. At the beginning. So the guy who asked, who are you? Yeah, you were supposed to introduce yourself and the organization at the beginning.
No, I did. Then when I asked him, tell me more about your company, your views, like strengths and stuff. What's really stuff?
Yeah. And you're going to run into all different kinds of people that some of them are going to be resistant and others are not going to be resistant. So the thing is, if you come up against the resistance, the idea is maybe it really isn't a match. Maybe it's okay. And then you say, in the end of the conversation, thank you for your time. And it's over, it's done. And then you move on to the next one. Okay? One more question. Yeah. Oh, you want to say something?
I just wanted to say, generally, there is no script. You can't just say, I'll go, I have these 6 questions, I'll go and say them in these order and it will work out and I'll have a deal. It never happens like that. This is just an ideal situation, And then when you go to a company this, you just have to adapt, okay? You have to adapt to different things. Know what to say and what not to say about ISAC. Know how to represent yourself. Should you talk in English? Should you talk in Arabic? Should you everything, So keep this in the back of your head, but you have to adapt to the visit you get, depending on the kind of person you get. So that's it.
Very good. Okay, thank you. One more question? Yes. One more. I didn't get the question.
What if you're trying to sell a product you don't actually believe?
To sell a product that you don't actually believe in?
Ah. You're trying to sell Microsoft, pitch Microsoft, what you say Microsoft?
Yeah, well, what do you think the answer is? If you're selling a product that you don't believe in?
Maybe stop the top or you that. Stop setting.
I would say stop selling it. Do something different. Or create the mindset that you have to begin to look for what the benefits really are. And I understand the question. I really understand. I mean, people have tried to sell me things that there absolutely no benefit, and I could tell that the person only wanted to make a commission. I would say, don't do it. Get out. Find a different situation. Find something you believe in, like ISAC. Because it's easy to talk about. It's easy to have passion about it. Right? And if you don't have the passion for it, if it's not in your heart, it's going to be very difficult because it all becomes about the money. And we can't do that. We're in 2011 almost. Okay? You and me, all right? We are at the forefront. You're the future. If we're going to move this society forward, we have to push out the corruption. Push out the people that are just in it for the money. We're going to talk about that next, but in a minute. But the idea here is just use this little 6-step process and practice a lot. That's it. You're not going to get this overnight. You're not going to get this in a week. You need to sink in a little bit, and you need to practice a lot. So role play is really the key. I just want to go through 7 little quick steps in the negotiation process, because negotiation is different than sales. Negotiation really is about a give and a get situation, a give and a receive situation, so that it becomes a win-win situation for everybody. It's not like I have something to sell now. It's just about negotiating terms. So there's always the sale, and then there's the terms, there's the negotiation process. And these are very generic, and they're very typical. And the first step, really, and I want you to write these down. There's 7 of them, okay? is know what you want. It's very important that you know exactly what you want. And before you go into any negotiation, it's very smart to make a list for yourself of exactly what you want. Even if you think that they're not going to give it to you, you still write it down. Know what you want. Be sincere. Get to know the other party. Keep the interaction friendly, relaxed, and businesslike. But know what you want. Step number 2. Learn everyone's objectives. Everyone's. And every objective that there is. So what you want to do is you want to share all of your concerns, all the things that you want, all of your objectives, and you want them to share all of their objectives with you. So you're creating an atmosphere of cooperation and mutual trust. You start hiding things and having secret agendas, they're just going to think that you're being sneaky, and then it's going to get real complicated. So, number 3, deal with the issues one by one. So once you get and understand their objectives and they understand your objectives, you go through them one by one, real simple. Okay, let's start at the top. Item number 1. We want to buy this piece of property. Or we want to have representation in Microsoft for icing. Whatever it might be. And then you list them, right? And you talk about the whole thing. As much information you can share with them about it and what your objectives are, what you want to create. And then also listen to their whole idea about the objective and everything. So go to the next one, please. Number 4 is discuss areas of disagreement for both sides. And this is the one that most people shy away from the most. Because they're afraid that if there's a disagreement, that the whole thing is going to fall through. And it's not true. Because most of the time, the other side also has things on their list that they think that we're going to disagree about. And it's not always true. We may not have a disagreement about that particular issue or item. So we want to get everything out on the table, even if we think that they don't match or they don't work, okay? And what it says here at the bottom of the slide says, it is possible to resolve the differences in a way that is acceptable to both parties only when conflicts are out in the open and they're examined. So they have to be out in the open. You have to be willing to, put your heart on the table. Tell people what you really want, okay? Next. And then once you get everything out on the table, even the things that you don't quite agree about, then you reassess. You kind of go back to the beginning. All right, let's take a new look at this situation. Let's reassess where we're at. So what we're agreeing on so far is, right, here's the common areas of ground that we have, and here is the things that are acceptable. So here we've made this progress so far, okay? And then you go through the other items and you begin to talk about those. If you must compromise, remember the give and the get principle. Be willing to give up something so that you can also get something. It may not always be ideal, but when you're willing to negotiate from an open heart point of view, then it makes it much more worthwhile. And step number 6, be flexible. Always be flexible. Look for alternative approaches. Be creative. Come up with ideas that will help resolve the remaining issues. Really important. Be flexible, because if you are inflexible, this person across from the table from you is going to have an experience of you. That you're hard-headed, you're inflexible, you don't really want to negotiate, you don't really have their best interest in mind. So be flexible. Number 7 is affirm the agreement. So go back to the beginning and say, okay, here is in fact what we've decided. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these are the exact details. And what you want to do is that you want to put it in writing. Very important. Especially when you're dealing. Now I know that Maria, you do this, right? With the companies that you deal with. There's a contract. Yeah, it's always in writing. Because we don't want to have any ambiguity in there.